You're listening to Little Rockers Radio, and today we are talking about looking after mum. For many new mums, it can be an all-consuming task, and looking after yourself comes at the very bottom of the list, if it even makes it onto the list. And we know that looking after yourself can help with looking after Barb, it can help with settling, and it can really help with most things in life, as a happy mum equals a happy bub. Easy to say, it's much, much harder to do. So today we're catching up with Maud from MaudBR.com. Maud is a counsellor and a life coach specialising with women and transitioning to motherhood. And we're chatting to Maud to get some quick tips on taking care of you. And it's perfect timing because Mother's Day is just around the corner, so it's a perfect time to talk about mums. Hi Maud, how are you?
Hi Sarah, I'm good, thank you, and you?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, I've got just a couple of questions for you today. The first one is, why is it so important to look after ourselves?
Yes, well, there is an obvious reason and a less obvious reason. The obvious reason is that because we're human beings, we have basic needs. These needs are eating, sleeping, feeling clean, feeling not isolated, feeling interested and motivated by what we do. And I mean, it's different for everyone, but certainly if we don't fulfill these basic needs, we are not going to be well, both physically and emotionally. And this, of course, is not good for you as a mum, because you will enjoy the ride of becoming a mother. But it's not good for your baby either, because, as you know, a baby has a lot of needs and will benefit enormously from having a mum that is physically and emotionally well. So this is the first obvious reason. There is another reason that is much less obvious, which is that taking care of you as a mum is one of the conditions to succeed in having a happy baby and a happy relationship with your baby and build your self-confidence as a mum. So why is that? Well, if you think about the situation where you respect your basic needs, therefore you feel fulfilled, energized, positive, motivated, instead of depleted and frustrated, you will be in a place where you will feel much more calm, patient, open to your baby, and able to feel your intuitions as well. And what happens is that your baby will feel that. Babies are 100% intuitions and perception. They feel their environment. So in the face of a calm, patient, positive mum, your baby will feel safe. Your baby will feel reassured. You know, for the baby, everything is new. So everything is unknown, scary. But if the baby can see that the mum is not panicking, therefore it gives the message to the baby that, well, it may be unknown, but it seems okay for my parents, for my mum, that this newness for me. And this will reassure your baby, and therefore your baby will be less panicked themselves. And what happens when we are less panicked is that we communicate in a clearer way. And this is extremely important because our babies spend their time communicating to us through cues. I mean, a lot of it is crying, but they do other things. They do multiple things. And when they are very calm inside, or as much as they can, they will communicate these cues in clearer patterns. Therefore, they're going to be more, it will be easier to understand them, to see the recurrence of patterns. And therefore, you'll be able, as a mum, to see and hear your baby in what they're trying to express. Even if you don't necessarily understand exactly what they mean, you will react. You will show to your baby that you are seeing they're trying to communicate. And that will make your baby feel heard. Mm-hmm. And when they feel heard, they feel safe, they calm down, and they are open to communicating with you, and the bond is happening. And of course, the consequence is that, well, as I say, you start like a virtuous circle where there's this communicating happening, and your baby has a great chance to be happier, and therefore you build your self-confidence. So it's a very important condition that is quite often overlooked, unfortunately.
And I think that the overarching thing that I get from that is to go easy on yourself, and you are allowed to take 5 or 10 minutes to look after you as well, because that keeps you sane as well. Now, I did want to ask you some easy ways that we can take 5 minutes or 10 minutes to look after ourselves, and even mums with the most hectic of schedules. Like, there's mums out there that have got children in kinder and primary school and newborns, and they're working. So what are some of the ways that they can look after themselves as well?
Well, I believe that the first step in that is to understand what are our own basic needs. I mean, there are some needs that are universal: eating, sleeping, drinking water, but then everyone is different. So it's a matter, first of all, in order to be able to look after yourself, which means to take care of your basic needs, to find out which are these basic needs. For some people, it will be to feel clean, to make absolutely sure that they have a shower every morning. For other people, it's feeling not isolated, so feeling related to groups. You have to find which one is yours. Now, if you're already a mum, what am I craving the most? What am I missing the most? If you're not a mum yet, you might think about, okay, in my life today, what are the things that I really could not do without? Now, if you come up with things like sitting on my couch with a glass of wine at night, what is your basic need in here is not having a glass of wine. Your basic need is to relax, okay? So it's important to see what's behind sometimes the form that these needs can take. Yeah. So once you're very clear, and I really encourage mums to sit, take 5 minutes, and just try to make a list, on paper, just a simple list of the things that are so important for them. And then how to practically go from this list into reality. Well, the first step is to remove all the non-basic needs from your to-do list. That means that if having a tidied living room doesn't make the list of your basic needs, it has nothing to do in your to-do list for the day, unless you have a special occasion or whatever. As a mom, especially with, very young children, we're extremely busy. And so we have to really focus on the basic. Then it's a matter of organizing teamwork with partners, or seeking help and support. And I know we're going to talk about this in a later interview, because that's an important subject. Mm-hmm. But let's look at, for example, teamwork with the dad or the partner. Well, it can be very little things, like, for example, agree with your partner that he's going to leave 5 minutes later every morning so that you can have a shower. Or that at night, for 20 minutes, your partner will look after your child so you can have a bath. Yeah. A bath where you relax. It's time for yourself. There can be things about when babies are not sleeping through the night yet, night shifts, where, one sleeps where the other one attends the baby. And by the way, I hear all the time, oh my God, how can mum do when they work, or how can I ask my partner when they've been working all day? I want to be very clear on that. It's less tiring to be sitting in front of a computer than spending the whole day with a newborn. I mean, one day I talked with a mum and I asked her, are you back at work? And she said, oh yeah, I did the easy thing. I went back to work. And I was like, I'm so glad to hear you saying that, because we so often overlook it is exhausting to be with a little one. Yeah. So if we can organize that, not both parents are up, or it's not always the mum that is up, it's a great thing. Mm-hmm. And, it's about task sharing, generally speaking. Another big one is sleep when babies sleep. And I remember when I had my child, a friend of mine told me that, and I was like, oh, no, when my baby sleeps, I'm going to use this time to do things. No. When your baby sleep, especially in the first few months. Other things can be reviewing budget and, looking at, is there a room for hiring a cleaner? Or other things can be, if social life is important for you, join a mother's group. Or if it's not about mother's group, because sometimes it's about meeting other women, colleagues or friends, and not talk about babies. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe organize one night a month and try to do that, or have a date with your hubby or something like that. So really what I want to say in a nutshell is, putting your needs in the closet for 1 or 2 years, like it's very often portrayed as being a transition to motherhood, is a false belief. Yeah. Focus only on your baby's needs is often seen as this is what will make your baby happy. This is not true. Your baby's needs are to feel safe and heard. And for that, most of the time it comes with routine and it comes with a happy mummy. So if you want to focus on your baby's needs, well, then your priority is to also focus on your own needs and to make yourself happy.
And I think from that, the one thing that I got from all of that is preparation. So really thinking about what it is that you need and preparing for that. So talking to your husband or your partner or what have you. And the sleeping when baby sleeps, I did that when my son was born. I could not do that when I had my second child because, you know, it just, in perfect world, it just doesn't happen when you've got a toddler also running around. So it's great advice when you've got your first baby at home. And for all mums out there that are at home with one baby, sleep when your baby sleeps, because when you have a second, you probably won't be able to.
And I think, look, the preparation and the cooperation with the partner or the dad is very, very important. And certainly, I mean, I do have actually a workshop where I prepare parents who are about to transition, and they're both there, and we talk about that, and they talk to each other and discover, oh, okay, for you this is so important. I had no idea that you couldn't feel like starting the day without having a shower. You know, these are very personal things we don't necessarily talk about before.
And it's all the things that you don't necessarily think about even before having a child, though, because you don't realise how much it takes over your life. One of the things that I did to look after myself when I had the children was I was big on having cups of tea. So just a couple of cups of tea a day, but I made sure that I had 5 minutes that I would put aside to be able to sit down and quietly drink them. So whether that meant putting, you know, the kids in sometimes, you know, with music on or in a playpen or with something to keep them occupied for 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it may have been. But it was really important for me to get that 5 minutes in with a cup of tea each day, which really helped as well. But everyone's different. So it's a case of figuring out what really works for them, I guess.
Yes, but what was very important in this, I can hear, was, you know, you had an opportunity to reconnect with yourself.
Yeah.
And this is absolutely part of basic needs, you know, when we just run and we need to stop. We need to feel connected with our deep self.
Absolutely. Well, it was only 2 questions, but I think that we got a lot out of that. So the interviews are up on the littlerockersradio.com.au website. There's links to Maud's website there. So if anyone has heard our conversation today and has any questions or wants to contact Maud at all for any further information, go to our website, littlerockersradio.com.au, and all of the links will be there. And we'll be chatting to Maud again shortly on asking for help, why removing, I think, barriers for children is not a good thing. So we'll catch up again with you soon, Maud, but thanks for chatting to us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to Little Rockers Radio.